Our project for today is to create this paperclip. So there are a few constraints that you'll have to follow, but the overall gist of it is that we've got to learn how to use the sweep tool. So we've used that a little bit, but not in Inventor before. So let's take a look. So first thing I'm going to do is just kind of draw my profile. I'm going to start with a circle, and I'm going to make the diameter. It says no more than 0.125. That's an eighth inch. That's pretty thick for a paper clip, but let's take a look at it. So there might be an example of something you come up with today. Let's go ahead and check it out. So I'm going to start with a sketch and pick that XY plane. I'm going to go right here to the middle, and I'll just make that 0.125. And I'm going to hit Finish Sketch because it's a sweep. Now here's the other thing. To do the paperclip, we've got to create a path, right? So we've got to create the shape of the paperclip itself. So let's take a look at how to do that. I'm going to go over here, and we've done this before. We've expanded the origin, right? There's planes. So what I'm trying to find is a perpendicular plane. So let me zoom in a little bit so you can see it better. The YZ plane would work. The XZ plane would work. The only one that wouldn't work is the XY plane because that's in the exact same spot. So you can pick either one of these. I'm going to pick the YZ. I'm going to right click on it and say New Sketch. And that kind of pops it up, and I'm going to be able to draw that sketch now. Okay, so let's take a look. I'm going to take my line tool and start there, right there in the origin. And a paper clip kind of does something like this, right? And it comes down here and does something like that. So I've got an overall sketch. Okay. Now what I've got to do, let me pull this all right back in there to the middle of the screen. Let's get some dimensions applied on this thing. So I'm going to say dimension. Well, let's look at our constraints. It can be no longer than 2 inches and no wider, and in this case, wider means taller, than 0.5. And we've already taken care of this 0.125 thing. Okay, so let's look. 2 inches. So I'm going to say dimension from the length of it. I'll say, you know what? That can't be any bigger than 2. Okay, so I know everything's got to fit there. And another dimension right here, I know that everything here has to fit in that 0.5 space. Right? So I might just kind of start dragging things down a little bit. Let's see if we can move that up a little bit. Because I haven't constrained it, I can still move things around a little bit. Okay, so I know everything's going to fit into 0.5. Let's go ahead and dimension. We'll say from here to here. Remember, when I sweep, it's 0.125 around, so I've got to leave enough space to do that. Let's make this like, well, let's try 0.15 there. And let's go down here between these two and do the same, 0.15. Okay, we should probably go ahead and do this. The issue, though, is if I do that, I'm going to get an error. Basically, it's saying if I put a constraint here, it's not going to work because I've already constrained it here, here, and here. So I can delete the 0.5 and then come in here and make this the 0.15. So now they're all equals. Now, remember the constraint said no longer than 2 inches, no wider than 0.5. So it can be smaller. So we're good. Okay, now I need to put those curves in. So I'm going to go up here to fill it. Now this is a little different. We're still in sketch mode. So I'm going to click fill it. As right now it's at 0.125. Let's see what that looks like. So I'll click there, and it puts the curve in. Click here and here. And here and here. I like that. Here and here. Now if I try it here, that's going to be too much, isn't it? If I try to fill it there, it's not going to work. So let me undo that last one. And let's change our fillet there. Instead of 0.125, let's divide that by 2. So I'm just going to say 0.125 divided by 2. And then I'll click. And that's a smaller fillet, so that'll work, right? All right, so there, I'm just going to hit Finish Sketch. So now I've got what we're used to seeing. So we've got us a path, or excuse me, we've got a profile and we've got a path. So let's go up here to Sweep now. After I hit Finish Sketch, it went to that 3D environment, right? So now we're sweeping. Inventor will automatically select that profile for you. So really all I have to do is click the pathway. And I click it, and then I hit OK.